r/AskReddit. What was your experience with your roommate from hell? I have a few candidates. The girl who didn't pay any of the bills she said she would, then bailed on me in the middle of the night when the power was going to be shut off. The white supremacist who replaced her that wouldn't help me pay off the power bill because he liked living in the dark with his thousands of rounds of ammunition and non-perishables. Or the guy who watched and sang along to a taping of a non-Broadway production of Phantom of the Opera more than 12 times in a week and then pulled knives on my other roommate, me, and a whole room of our friends. He pulled multiple knives at one time, or he pulled knives on several occasions. He was dual wielding. I can't walk to the post office because I cut off my feet. Do you want to swing by and get them? Nah, it looks like you can handle the situation. This was of course Edward Scissorhands. I decided to room with a friend at school. She was great until I found out what living with her was like. She's a total slob. Food wrappers and dirty, sometimes bloody, underwear lying around everywhere. Once I found her shoe in my bed, really weirdly clingy. Sometimes, I'd walk into the room only to have her attached to my stomach a second later squealing about how cute I was. Had a tendency to call me her mother, jump into my bed, and try to force me into platonically spooning her. Cried about dumb crap, complained about everyone, and always expected sympathy comfort. Would also have loud people over in the bed above me while I was trying to sleep. Often stayed up until 4 or 5 in the morning, knowing I had to get up at 6 because she wouldn't get up until 3 in the afternoon, if not later. She recently brought back clothes covered in cat hair, and since I'm very allergic, I got to move out without having the awkward "I kind of can't stand you anymore" conversation. Oh god, the hair on the back of my neck just went up. I can't stand people like that. It was rough. Everyone on my hall hates my new roommate, but she's distant and clean. And that's all I need right now. Was this your daughter? Ha, no. She was just a clingy friend. Also called my boyfriend mom, but that was mostly to annoy him. Sometimes the only way to remain friends is to not live together. I found that out the hard way. In what situation, other than a very lazy weekend, would you not need to wake up until 3 PM? But yeah, that must have been hell. One was in college. She played WoW all day and slept with a large bag of sugar to cuddle. Caught her flicking her bean and sniffing the bag of sugar while other people on WoW heard her through the headset. Second one, I was living with this guy who never cleaned our joint bathroom. He never cleaned anything. Caught him eating spaghetti out of a frying pan with a ladle while shitting on the toilet. Also found most of my panties in his room and he peeped on me a few times. Found out after I moved out that he and his friends would poop in a spot along the fence in the backyard. Always wondered about the huge mounds of crap. They started to look like cow patties. What? I think the pooping by the fence begs for more explanation than that one. That's actually normal-ish. Literally the best imagery ever. Would like to know what you mean by sleeping with a bag of sugar and flicking her bean. I mean, she had a huge bag of sugar that she hugged like a teddy bear and she touched herself. A little bag of sugar? What the duck? She wanted to make sweet love. Well played. She had sex while I was asleep in the room. One time I woke up and me and the guy just made really awkward eye contact and then he just went back to doing what he was doing. My boyfriend in college had the bottom bunk and his roommate had the top. I would sleep over as would his roommate's girlfriend, and they would have sex above us, making the whole bed shake. The worst. I once enjoyed a very interesting night's sleep after a drunken house party. 5 of us were crashing, 4 guys and 1 girl, on these mattresses in the summer house. A nice big shed with a kitchen area, bathroom, living room and balcony above the kitchen. The mattresses were on this balcony, laid out 6 wide. I ended up in the middle and as I was just about to fall asleep, I heard the guy begging for something from the girl, so she ended up sucking him. This turned on the other 2, which is when I discovered that I was right. They were gay, and me, stuck in the middle, not sure what to say or do, so I stayed quiet. The way it was laid out, I wasn't able to escape in either direction without climbing over a bit of romance. You rank up with another redditor who showed up late to a camping trip with something like 8 guys and 8 girls plus him. 5 minutes after he got there, they all paired up and went to their tents for sex. He sat in the center of the campsite sex extravaganza and drank beers. That's horrible. Nothing worse than being 17th wheel. Not sure what kind of vehicle we're discussing anymore though. An 18-wheeler that lost the spare? Guitar. All the ducking time. Bet it was crappy loud guitar playing at that. I've got one of those in my house. He owns 3 guitars and a huge amp and I'm convinced he can't even play a basic song. Man, I can't wait to be my own house. The kind of dickbag who sits under a tree with a guitar and starts playing random chords to seem deep. Or the guy who does the same but in public then looks around to make sure people are paying attention to him. Pretty much yes. Bonus points if he's the kind of guy that get topless for no reason whatsoever. Did he turn his amp up to 11? Maybe he just made 10 louder. But this one goes to 11. Freshman year, I had a pot dealer for a roommate. I have nothing against that, except he began to take things like shrooms. One night, he had more shrooms than he could handle. He puked and pissed his bed. This was like a studio apartment. One room with 2 beds, 2 desks, and a private bathroom. Then he wrapped himself in a blanket, rocked back and forth, and screamed randomly. It was 2 in the morning. I had a test the next morning, 8 AM class, and so I ended up sleeping on an uncomfortable chair in the lounge. Not even an apology the next morning. He began to take my food without asking because he got hungry when he was high. And at one point, he even had sex with his girlfriend in his bed while I was sleeping. Oh, and they broke the toilet once having sex in the bathroom. I was sleeping when he woke me telling me that the bathroom was flooding. I switched rooms after putting up with this for 2 months. The horror. Wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. I think what's particularly appalling about this is the fact that it's his own bed. I repeat, nobody should have sex in their own bed. A lock on my food cabinet fixed my food theft situation nicely. Got a similar story? Share it in the comments section below. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel for my r/AskReddit.